next category of joints I'd like to move into is the halve joint or the half lap joint. And for this, there's a variety of different applications. They can be used in framing work, when you're building furniture, box making, construction, if you're doing something around the house. The easiest, or the first one I'll kick off with, is the corner half lap joint. Very similar to the lap joint, only the difference being we actually take away material from two surfaces. So this is how to do a 90-degree or a corner lap joint. Next is a lap joint. A lap joint is where we cut away half of this material and half of this material, providing they're the same thickness, and cut back to the shoulder the width of this piece. I'll mark it out. Draw a line down there. Careful it doesn't move, flip it over and draw a line down there. That way we've got a line there and a line there. Now we measure down half here, and for that I'll use the marking gauge, set it at halfway, mark down there and then on the sides. And the same on the other piece. And these pencil lines, just carry them across on both edges, on both pieces. First of all, I'm going to cut this line here to the depth of the marked line here, and cut on the inside, the waist side of this shoulder line. Like that. Do it to the other piece. Turn it off. Put the brake on if you've got one. We move the fence in, and we want to take it on the waist side of these lines that are marked here. And you'll notice the outer edge of the kerf on the blade is just touching the inside of this line here. Don't need the box. But what I will do is put some feathered fingers on this. And what that does, it keeps a nice constant pressure on the block as it's going through, and it won't wander. And the same for the other one. You might have to clean these out to get it flush, but you're better off to have a bit of meat on these faces here to bring it down rather than have too much, and then you'll find that the joints will be below the surface. But that's pretty good. And there it is, finished. Moving on from the corner lap joint is the T-lap joint. And this is used again in framing, putting carcasses together, or wherever you've got to join two bits of timber and you might want the joint as a feature. So here's how to make a T-lap joint. Much the same as a half lap, only instead of going on the edge, it'll go on the centre, like that. Whilst I'll get this set up, we'll mark this and cut this one, and I'll show you how to cut the female afterwards. Make sure it's nice and square to the job. And mark that. With a marking gauge, mark the centre of the edge, top and bottom, and the centre of the part that's going to lap. And just to make it easier, So you can see, bring this line across on the face over to the side. Like that. And do the same here. Like that. We've got this set up, we might as well cut it. So what I'm going to do, the reverse this time, I'm going to cut down here and then I'll clean these off. The only reason I'm doing that is the saw's set up. Don't need this. Saw box in again. Move the fence back. And we're just going to trim on the inside of this line. Now for this part, it's the same as what we did, only on the middle, and we're not taking the whole lot out to start with. So I do inside of both these lines first. Like that. Then to get the waste out, I'll go down to this mark line in sections down here. Now if you find you haven't got enough meat here on the box, simply turn it over and come from the other end again. And there you have the joint all segmented. And these, just flick them out with your finger. Now you're going to have to clean that up with a chisel when you get back to your bench, but this bit will fit nicely in there, giving you a nice joint. So clean that up with a chisel, this up with a chisel, and it should marry together quite nicely. And then we have two lap joints now. The T-one's finished, and the corner lap joint. The next two I'm going to cover are very, very similar to the T-lap joint, and that is the cross half lap joint and the obtuse half lap joint.